What if the difference between an average leader and a transformational one is not power, title, or experience, but the ability to make everyone around them smarter? Imagine working under a leader who expands your ideas, challenges you to grow, and helps you reach levels of intelligence you did not know existed. Now imagine another leader who drains your energy, suppresses your creativity, and makes you question your worth. Both may look similar on paper, but one multiplies intelligence while the other diminishes it. In Multipliers, How the Best Leaders Make Everyone Smarter, Liz Wiseman introduces a groundbreaking discovery. The best leaders are not those who know the most, but those who extract the most intelligence from the people around them. They are called multipliers. They amplify capability, inspire brilliance, and create environments where ideas flourish. In contrast, diminishers unintentionally shrink the intelligence of their teams, believing they must be the smartest person in the room. This book reveals how to become a multiplier, someone who ignites the full potential of others and turns ordinary groups into extraordinary teams. Before starting a summary, if you are new to my channel, then please subscribe to my channel so that you never miss out on any book summary. Chapter 1: The Multiplier Effect. Why do some leaders seem to bring out genius wherever they go, while others unintentionally leave brilliance untapped? What if intelligence is not fixed inside individuals, but something leaders can multiply or diminish depending on how they lead? Liz Wiseman begins the book with a powerful observation drawn from years of research across industries and organizations. She noticed that two leaders with equally talented teams produced drastically different results. One type of leader stretched minds, elevated performance, and made people feel smarter after every interaction. The other type unintentionally suppressed thinking, micromanaged, and created dependency. She labeled these two archetypes, the multiplier and the diminisher. Multipliers believe that people are capable of greatness. They see intelligence as something expandable, not scarce. This belief changes everything. Instead of hoarding ideas, they invite ideas from every corner of the room. Instead of solving every problem, they create space for others to think. Their presence turns average performers into high achievers, not through pressure but through possibility. Diminishers, on the other hand, do not necessarily intend harm. Many are intelligent and capable themselves, but their mindset is rooted in scarcity. They believe that intelligence is rare, so they must supply it all. They dominate discussions, make every decision, and unknowingly suppress the very potential they hired. The result is predictable. Smart people stop thinking when a diminisher enters the room. Wiseman's research revealed a striking pattern. People working under multipliers reported giving nearly 2 times more of their capability compared to those working under diminishers. Imagine the ripple effect of that difference across an organization. Innovation doubles, morale rises, and results multiply. She describes 5 core disciplines that define multipliers: the talent magnet, attracting and optimizing talent; the liberator, creating space where people can think freely; the challenger, stretching people's thinking beyond limits; the debate maker, driving smart decisions through rigorous thought; the investor, instilling ownership and accountability in others. These are not personality traits, they are learnable disciplines. The multiplier effect begins the moment a leader shifts from being the smartest in the room to making the room itself smarter. This first chapter sets a crucial foundation. Leadership is not about how much intelligence you have, but how much intelligence you can release in others. When you become a multiplier, you stop adding effort and start multiplying results. But how do multipliers find and develop the right people? What kind of mindset allows them to attract and keep the most capable minds around them while others struggle to hold on to talent? In the next chapter, we will uncover the first discipline of a true multiplier, the talent magnet, and learn how the best leaders make others want to give their very best every single day. Chapter 2: The talent magnet. Why do some leaders seem to attract the brightest minds wherever they go? People want to work with them, learn from them, and stay with them even when other opportunities promise more money or prestige. Meanwhile, other leaders constantly lose good people, despite having bigger titles or better resources. What makes the difference? Liz Wiseman calls this rare leadership quality the talent magnet. A talent magnet does not simply hire people, they attract them. Their presence creates a magnetic field that pulls in intelligence, creativity, and commitment. They make people feel seen, valued, and challenged. They do not compete with talent. They cultivate it. Wiseman discovered that multipliers view intelligence like a muscle that grows with use. They do not look for perfect people. They look for potential. They recognize raw ability and then stretch it through meaningful challenges. When a multiplier spots talent, they ask, "How can I use this person's full potential?" rather than "How can this person serve my needs?" This shift in perspective changes everything. It tells people your talent matters here. Talent magnets do for things consistently. They look beyond job titles. Multipliers do not limit people to their resumes. They look for hidden strengths, passions, and unique skills that may not appear on paper. They often discover brilliance others overlook because they are searching for potential, not perfection. They find people's native genius. Every individual has a native genius, something they do effortlessly, better than most, and with natural joy. Multipliers identify this genius and place people in roles where they can use it. Daily, when people operate in their zone of genius, they do not burn out. They light up, they remove barriers that waste talent. Many leaders unintentionally confine talent with strict hierarchies, excessive control, or unnecessary rules. Talent magnets create freedom to think and contribute. They delegate authority, not just tasks. They trust people with problems that stretch them to grow. They shine the spotlight on others. A diminisher often stands at the center of attention. A multiplier steps aside and lets others stand in the light. When people feel trusted and celebrated, they naturally want to give more of their intelligence to the team. Wiseman's research showed a powerful pattern. Employees working under multipliers not only performed better, they felt energized. They described their workplace as stimulating, creative, and deeply fulfilling. They said things like, "I do my best thinking here," or "I feel smarter after every meeting." Talent magnets multiply not through force, but through inspiration. They create an emotional connection that drives excellence. People do not work harder because they have to, they work harder because they want to. Contrast this with diminishers, who often chase talent only to waste it. They hire brilliant people, but then overmanage them, second-guess their ideas, or fail to use their strengths. Over time, talented individuals disengage or leave, taking their intelligence with them. The lesson is clear: leaders who want to attract and retain top performers must stop competing with their team's intelligence and start amplifying it. When people feel valued, trusted, and challenged, they rise to their highest level. But attracting talent is only the beginning. What happens when you have all these bright minds under one roof, yet fear, ego, or pressure stop them from thinking freely? In the next chapter, we will explore the second powerful discipline of a multiplier, the Liberator, and uncover how great leaders create a space where everyone feels safe to think, speak, and take bold risks. Chapter 3. The Liberator: What happens when people have great ideas but are too afraid to speak. When fear dominates a workplace, even the smartest teams fall silent. But when courage replaces fear, creativity ignites. So, how do the best leaders create a culture where people feel free to think, contribute, and challenge ideas without fear of judgment? Liz Wiseman introduces the Liberator, a multiplier who frees people's intelligence by creating an environment of psychological safety. A Liberator does not control with fear. They lead with trust and respect. They do not demand results through pressure. They invite excellence through ownership. The secret of the Liberator lies in balance. They combine high expectations with deep respect. They make it clear that excellence is non-negotiable, but they also communicate that mistakes are part of the learning process. This creates what Wiseman calls a freedom with responsibility zone. Liberators do three things consistently. They release pressure. Instead of managing through tension, they diffuse it. They speak calmly, listen openly, and remove the invisible fear of failure. When pressure drops, people's brains perform better. Creativity and reasoning improve dramatically. They demand the best. Liberation is not leniency. Multipliers hold people accountable for results. They set clear standards, but they do it with empathy. They say, "I believe you are capable," instead of "you must not fail." This shifts the focus from fear to growth. They create space for thought. Diminishers often fill silence with their own words, suffocating thinking time. Liberators create silence intentionally. They pause, wait, and let others process ideas. These pauses allow new insights to emerge, insights that might never appear in a rushed, fear-driven discussion. Under a liberator, people do not work because they are told to, they work because they are trusted to. That emotional freedom leads to greater innovation, loyalty, and accountability. But freedom alone is not enough. The best leaders also know how to stretch people's limits, to challenge them beyond their comfort zones. In the next chapter, we will meet the challenger and learn how true leaders inspire growth by pushing people to think far beyond what they believe is possible. Chapter 4. The Challenger. What if your greatest potential is hidden behind the challenges you fear the most? Most leaders try to protect their teams from difficulty, but the smartest leaders do something different. They use challenge as a tool for growth. So how do multipliers turn discomfort into development? The challenger is a leader who does not give people easy answers, but gives them powerful questions. They believe that every person is capable of solving complex problems when properly stretched. Challengers do not dictate vision. They co-create it. They paint a vivid picture of what is possible, then invite their team to figure out how to achieve it. This activates intelligence far deeper than compliance ever could. Wiseman found that challengers share three major habits. They seed opportunities. Rather than assigning tasks, they present challenges that connect to a higher purpose. They say, "Here is an opportunity to change something important," which sparks ownership and curiosity. They redefine failure. In a diminisher culture, failure means punishment. In a challenger culture, failure means learning. When people stop fearing mistakes, they begin to take intelligent risks, the kind that leads to breakthroughs. They ask the right questions. Challengers replace directives with inquiry. Instead of saying, "Do this," they ask, "What would it take to make this happen?" These questions unlock thinking that instructions could never produce. When a team is challenged the right way, their confidence grows faster than their fear. A multiplier understands that real growth begins at the edge of discomfort. They push, not to break, but to expand. Under a challenger, people start to think independently. They stop waiting for instructions and start generating solutions. This is how organizations evolve from following to leading industries. However, challenge without collaboration can lead to chaos. Ideas need structure, testing, and refinement. In the next chapter, we will meet the debate maker, the multiplier who knows how to turn discussion into decisive action and transform differing opinions into collective intelligence. Chapter 5. The debate maker. Have you ever been in a meeting where everyone agrees but nothing improves? Or the opposite, where everyone talks, no one listens, and decisions never move forward? The difference between confusion and clarity often lies in how leaders handle debate. Liz Wiseman describes the debate maker as the leader who knows how to extract intelligence through structured, inclusive, and purposeful debate. They understand that smart thinking is not born in silence or in endless argument, but in rigorous discussion that sharpens ideas. The debate maker creates an environment where people can challenge assumptions without fear. They see disagreement not as conflict, but as a necessary step toward truth. Debate makers follow three key principles. They frame the issue clearly. Before discussion begins, they define the problem sharply. They make sure everyone understands what decision needs to be made and why it matters. This focus prevents debates from turning into confusion. They encourage diverse views. Multipliers deliberately invite opposing perspectives. They do not want echo chambers. They want collision of ideas. This diversity forces deeper reasoning and exposes blind spots. They drive to a clear decision. After hearing all sides, they move decisively. The debate ends not with endless talk, but with a well-informed action. This clarity builds trust because people know their input matters and decisions have purpose. In a diminisher culture, debates become political or personal. People argue to win, but under a debate maker, people argue to learn. The goal is not to protect ego, but to protect excellence. Wiseman shares examples of leaders who transformed their organizations simply by changing how they debated. Instead of top-down decisions, they made space for cross-functional teams to think together. The result was innovation that multiplied across departments. Under a debate maker, meetings become laboratories of ideas, not battlegrounds of opinions. But even the best ideas need ownership. Without accountability, brilliance fades into talk. In the next chapter, we will uncover the fifth and final discipline of the multiplier, the investor, the kind of leader who hands over ownership, trusts others with real responsibility, and builds future leaders instead of followers. Chapter 6. The investor, what happens when a leader stops trying to control everything and starts trusting others completely. Most managers believe the only way to get results is by keeping a tight grip on every detail, but the best leaders do something radical. They hand over ownership. So how do they make sure people perform without constant supervision? Liz Wiseman introduces the investor, a multiplier who gives people the resources, responsibility, and belief they need to deliver results as if they own the business. An investor's power comes from trust and transfer. They do not just assign tasks, they assign accountability. They say, "This is yours. I trust you to lead it." And with that one statement, they awaken ownership, pride, and initiative that no amount of micromanagement could ever create. Investors follow three essential disciplines. They hand over real ownership. Diminishers delegate only the work but keep control of the decisions. Investors delegate both. They let others decide, design, and deliver. This gives people a sense of agency, the feeling that their work truly matters. They teach, then trust. Instead of rescuing or correcting every mistake, investors coach. They invest time in developing others' judgment. They ask questions like, "What options do you see?" Or "What would you do differently next time?" Over time, this creates self-sufficient thinkers who no longer depend on their leader for every move. They expect and inspect. Investors hold people accountable for outcomes, not activities. They do not micromanage, but they do follow up. The expectation is clear: you own this, and I trust you to deliver. When people are trusted with ownership, they rise to the challenge. They think deeper, act faster, and care more. An investor leader builds a legacy because their people become investors too, multiplying intelligence throughout the organization. But what happens when leaders accidentally do the opposite, when they think they are helping but end up holding people back? In the next chapter, we'll uncover the hidden traps of the accidental diminisher, and you might be surprised to find a few of them in yourself. Chapter 7. The Accidental Diminisher. What if you unintentionally shrinking the intelligence of your team even when your intentions are good? Most leaders want to empower others, but sometimes their habits, their helpfulness, enthusiasm, or even expertise can quietly suppress the brilliance around them. Liz Wiseman calls these people accidental diminishers. They are not toxic or power-hungry. They care deeply about their teams, but without realizing it, their behavior sends one silent message: I don't fully trust you. Here are some of the most common types of accidental diminishers. The idea guy, always excited, always brainstorming, but their non-stop flow of ideas leaves no space for others to contribute. The always-on leader, full of energy, passion, and drive. Yet their constant intensity overwhelms people and prevents calm, thoughtful contributions. The rescuer. always jumping in to help, but by saving people from struggle, they rob them of growth. The pacesetter leads by example, working harder than everyone. But this sets a bar so high that others stop trying, they just watch the leader do it all. The rapid responder replies to every message, every issue, instantly, but their speed discourages others from thinking through problems themselves. What makes this chapter powerful is its humility. Wiseman admits, every leader has been an accidental diminisher at some point. The good news is awareness is the first step to transformation. Once leaders see the pattern, they can pause, step back, and start creating space for others to think again. But awareness alone is not enough. What do you do when you work with a diminisher or worse, for one? The next chapter gives you the tools to survive and thrive even under diminishing leadership. Let's move into dealing with diminishers. Chapter 8. Dealing with diminishers. What if your boss is a diminisher? Do you quit, confront, or simply endure it? Liz Wiseman says none of the above. There's a smarter way to handle it, one that lets you multiply your own intelligence even in a diminishing environment. This chapter is a survival and empowerment manual. It begins with a simple truth. You can't always change your boss, but you can change how you respond. Wiseman introduces a powerful concept called leading from below. Instead of fighting against a diminisher, you work around them by expanding your own sphere of influence. Here are the key strategies. Understand their intent. Many diminishers don't mean harm. They simply operate from fear or insecurity. When you understand their motivations, you can adapt your approach to earn trust, clarify, and contribute. Diminishers often over-direct because they think others lack clarity. So take initiative, define what you're doing, communicate it clearly, and show progress before they ask. It builds confidence in your abilities. Invite them to partner, ask their input strategically. When they feel included, they loosen control. Over time, this shifts the dynamic from boss-subordinate to collaborator-collaborator. Protect your energy, set mental boundaries, don't internalize negativity, focus on what you can control: your effort, creativity, and impact. By applying these strategies, Wiseman shows that even under a diminisher, you can thrive and help others around you thrive too. The true multiplier mindset is not dependent on authority, it's a personal choice. But how do you fully become that kind of leader, one who multiplies intelligence in every environment, every team, every interaction? The final chapter reveals the path to lasting transformation, becoming a multiplier. Chapter 9. Becoming a multiplier. Imagine walking into a room and seeing your team buzzing with ideas, solving problems, and pushing boundaries, not because they have to, but because they want to. Imagine a culture where intelligence flows freely, where every person feels trusted, stretched, and alive. This is not a fantasy. It is the hallmark of a true multiplier. But the real question is, how do you become one? In this final chapter, Liz Wiseman reveals that being a multiplier is not about personality, it is about practice. It is a deliberate decision you make every day in how you lead, listen, and empower others. Wiseman reminds us that everyone starts somewhere between two extremes: the diminisher who unintentionally drains intelligence, and the multiplier who expands it. Becoming a multiplier means shifting from control to curiosity, from answers to questions, from spotlight to sunlight, letting others grow under your leadership. She outlines 5 core disciplines to master, each echoing what we have learned so far. The talent magnet: attract and optimize talent. Identify people's unique genius and make space for them to use it fully. The Liberator: create space for great thinking. Remove fear and replace it with psychological safety. Let people breathe, think, and create. The Challenger: stretch people beyond what they think possible. Push them toward bold goals, not safe ones. Believe in their capability before they do. The Debate Maker: spark rich discussion before decisions. Invite conflicting ideas. Let truth rise through dialogue, not dominance. The Investor: give ownership and accountability. Hand over control with confidence. Build others into leaders who build more leaders. The beauty of this journey, Wiseman explains, is that multiplying intelligence is contagious. Once you lead like a multiplier, your team begins to think like multipliers too. You no longer have to carry the weight of brilliance alone. You unleash an organization of thinkers, problem solvers, and innovators. But becoming a multiplier is not instant. It begins with small, consistent actions, asking instead of telling, listening instead of interrupting, challenging instead of rescuing, delegating outcomes instead of instructions, and perhaps most importantly, reflecting every day with one simple question: did I make people around me smarter? Today, that single habit transforms leadership from a position of power to a mission of empowerment. Final thought as Wiseman concludes, the world does not need more geniuses at the top, it needs leaders who make everyone around them feel like geniuses. That is how teams thrive, organizations transform, and innovation multiplies. So ask yourself, starting today, are you draining intelligence or multiplying it? Because your choice defines not only your leadership but your legacy. If this idea inspired you, do not stop here, because in our next summary, we will dive into another powerful book that will reshape the way you lead, think, and grow. Stay curious, stay ambitious, and remember, the best leaders make everyone smarter. If you enjoyed this breakdown, do not forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more powerful book summaries that help you master your mind and multiply your success.